1 year ago, these were my most expensive Ninjago figures. Now, as you can see, all of these you'd sort of expect to be on the list as they're all quite rare. Some of them are quite old, especially the Lloyd and obviously Pythor. But in 2026, the Ninjago market has shifted a little bit, and I thought I'd show off my new top 10 and also sort of show how surprised I am that certain minifigures have suddenly inflated so much. Ones that you sort of wouldn't expect. So, let's keep the minifigures that stay the same. So, Pythor will probably always be my most expensive minifigure. White Pythor here. He is, I've just got brick set on my laptop in front of me here. Brand new, he is showing for about £78.36, which is crazy. Used, he is about £38.16. So, this is, I'd probably get him. Mine's quite old. It's obviously the tail's slightly damaged. The head is very loose. You can see this arm's sort of faded. But I still love this minifigure no matter what. And obviously I don't plan on selling it anytime soon. So yeah, Pythor secures first place as my most expensive minifigure. He's not changing. Another one that's not changing is Kabuki Nia. And she is brand new. £57.84. So I probably would. This minifigure is pretty much in new quality. All the printing's not damaged. Nothing's really bad about this figure. But used is also £45.26, which is crazy. But this was a Bricktober minifigure. You expect that. Pythor only came in one in the Samurai X cave. You'd expect that from these figures. So the first minifigure we need to take out now is this guy, or well, should I say this guy? I mean Pixel, Samurai X from Hands of Time. Now this is one I'm surprised to no longer be in the top 10, because this minifigure was originally exclusive to one set. The set wasn't too good. I didn't mind it at the time, but it was considered one of the worst Hands of Time sets, obviously. But this is the only way you could get this exclusive Pixel, and in my opinion, it's the coolest Pixel minifigure of Samurai X, because it just sort of keeps that anonymous look to this Samurai X. But yeah, sadly this minifigure no longer cracks the top 3, and instead is shockingly, which I'm sort of shocked by, sort of not, replaced by Deepstone Zane. So Deepstone Zane only came in 2 sets, which I sort of forget how sort of rare he was, because I think the cheapest set he came in was the Titan Mech Battle, which I'm not sure how much that retailed for at the time. That's how I've got this minifigure. But yeah, I was sort of shocked how much this one went up. I think he's the rarest out of the Deepstone suits, so it makes sense. And a lot of people love the Deepstone suits as people class Season 5 as one of their favourite seasons. But yeah, this minifigure brand new goes for £42.11, which I think is actually crazy. But yeah, because obviously I don't think there's... Obviously, I think probably I've had this figure for so long, I sort of forget how cool it is. But it is a really nice suit. But considering Zane was the only one who got remade for Legacy, I'm sort of surprised this one's the most expensive, because, I mean, they updated him. Now, I don't think the updated one is... It's obviously different. But yeah, sort of shocked that this minifigure's been replaced. So we'll put him in 3rd place. In 4th place, another minifigure getting substituted out is Kimono Lloyd. Now, I sort of did expect this, to be fair, as, well, when I made the video last year, this minifigure was still quite rare, as they only just started putting him in the books to replace future Nia. But now we're at the point where most people have rebought the book to try and get a new copy of this figure. So obviously it sort of makes sense he's gone down in price. So yeah, and he has been replaced by sort of another shocking one, and that is Pink Zane. Now the reason I'm sort of shocked Pink Zane is because he wasn't a difficult minifigure to get. He came in a £30 set alongside 9 other figures back in 2020. So he is 6 years old now, which does feel sort of crazy. But I just think he's currently going for £40.16, which is so expensive for this figure. Now, it makes sense. He was always a popular character and a popular figure that everybody wanted at around Season 1. And I'm glad they finally made it, but I think it's crazy how much he's gone up by, as he's really not that old of a minifigure. And realistically, if you're 2020 was more than half a decade now, so I think I do forget how old this figure is, but I think all the hype around the 15th anniversary has definitely shot this guy up loads. £40 brand new and £26 used is crazy for this figure. It is a very cool figure, but I wouldn't expect it to be that much. So he's going in 4th place. Now, the next one that doesn't change is 10th anniversary Zayn. This is obviously, this makes sense why he's the most expensive, other than, well, yeah, no, actually, it does make sense why he's the most expensive, as all of the other Ninja came in cheaper sets or better sets. Zayn was unlucky and got put in the most expensive Legacy set, and that being the worst one being the Ultra Stonic Raider. Obviously, he came in the Temple of Celebrations, but that's not making any of these figures more common. So yeah, obviously, he's the rarest to get, because obviously Wu also came in Ninjago City Gardens, but all of his parts were available to make up bricks and pieces so people could get extra copies of him, so that sort of shrunk his price there. But yeah, with Zayn, I think, yeah, it is a cool figure, and it obviously makes sense why he's so expensive. Next figure is Nadakan, and he's getting substituted out for Cole DX. Nadakan is a cool figure, obviously. I sort of get why he went up expensive, but we'll get back to him later because he might be returning lower down in the list. Spoiler alert there, so don't end the video now to spoil it. But yeah, next we have Cole DX. The DX suits definitely faced the 15th anniversary inflation. I bought this minifigure for £8 off of eBay, and now he goes for £36, which is crazy expensive. He is a really cool figure and is the only DX Ninja I own at the moment. So that is quite sad that all the other ones are so much more expensive, especially Lloyd and Jay. Don't get me started on those prices. But yeah, it is a really cool figure. He was sort of the most unique because he had the different headpiece. Well, his dragon used a different head on the suit. The DX suits are nostalgic, and because of the 15th anniversary, they've gone up a lot. So he's going next to Zayn in 6th place. Next up, we have Only Lloyd. Another one which made sense to be expensive, as he only came in one set, that being the Golden Dragon, although the only exclusive parts for him are this back of the helmet and his mask, because he came in a magazine with a headband, so that sort of reduced the cost of the torso and legs. But yeah, he's a really cool figure, and he's no longer in the top 10, I believe. And yeah, I think really detailed. I love the thing. He wasn't in the show too much, so maybe that's why, and because he's a newer figure, he might have gone down slightly more. But who he's been replaced by? Day of the Departed Nia. Which, the Day of the Departed suits are quite strange in pricing. Because, if I remember, I got this minifigure, I got all of my Day of the Departed minifigures from sets. I got the 4 main ninja from the Ultra Stealth Raider, and then Lloyd and Nia from the X Cave. But these are such expensive minifigures now, and I was watching Bricks by Mind's video about Ninjago inflation, because I think, well, it's a very interesting video. I'd go check it out if you've not already, but let's be real. If you're watching me, you probably have watched Bricks by Mind, so. But this armor piece, he said, is really expensive, and that's sort of what brings me to the point of why I think the Day of the Departed suits have gone up, because the Day of the Departed suits, other than Zayn, all of them are in like my top 20 most expensive minifigures. But Zayn's never really inflated as much as, well, Nia's £35. We're going to get to Lloyd later, another spoiler alert, but that's okay. And then if I just look down on the laptop here, Jay is £28, Kai is £28, Cole is £23. Yeah, the regular Cole now is more expensive than Cole RX, which I think is crazy. So yeah, the regular Cole, then yeah, I've got to do quite a bit of scrolling before I get to the J version with the half mask is £16. So the less interesting J is more expensive than Zayn, and I'm scrolling down loads of figures here. Oh yeah, Zayn is £10. So he never really felt the boost that the rest of the Day of the Departed Ninjas did, so which makes me think this armor piece is the only reason those figures are expensive, because these torso and legs got used in magazines and books. So the fact that the armor piece has inflated this minifigure so much is actually pretty shocking to me, to be fair. I think it's crazy that... But Ninjago 2026 economy. Don't love it, but what can you do? But yeah, so the Nia minifigure has gone up quite a bit. So she'll be going next to Cole in 7th place. Next minifigure we're getting rid of is Dogshank. This one made sense to be expensive, as she was Ninjago's first big fig, and obviously a great big fig at that. Not much to say that's not been already said. Obviously, the dual molded torso piece is really cool. The arms are really unique. Everything about this minifigure is very cool. So yeah, it makes sense for her to be expensive, but she's no longer in the top 10. And we got the first returning minifigure, Nadakan. He's been brought down to 8th place. He's still £35, so he's only less than Nia by 2p, but that's how it is. And he is a really cool figure. Came in 2 sets, 2 pretty expensive sets, so it sort of does make sense. And obviously, him being the main villain, it makes sense for him to sort of have this high cost. Next minifigure we're getting rid of is General Makia. Now, this minifigure, I believe, is sort of expensive for the same reasons that this Samurai minifigure. That's because they came in the same set. They were both exclusive, so with one of them going off this list, it sort of makes sense why the other one's gone off of this list. But yeah, this was one of my favourite villains. I love this headpiece. It's very dusty. I probably need to clean that. I'll do that after. But yeah, very cool minifigure. All the snakes sort of winding together. Definitely the most unique out of the Vermilion army. And she's been replaced with General Kozu. Also from that Samurai X Cave set, the same as Nia. And he used... The only exclusive parts about him are these 2 pieces here. The head and the upper body, which is probably where he gets most of his wealth from. The torso was reused on the other Stone Army warriors, and then the head is just sort of generic Stone Warrior parts. It is a very cool minifigure. One of my favourite villain figures I think I've got. I think the black and red go really well together as opposed to the full red look he had from Season 2. And yeah, I think it's a really cool figure. And he goes for £35.55p. So that is the same, well, it's 1p less than Garmadon. So it sort of shows how close it is between all of these figures, these 3 figures here. And finally, another minifigure that I'm surprised to go down so much is Pythor. Because one thing I also was having a look up, I think it made sense for him to be the most expensive out of the Council of the Crystal King. Pythor's always been an expensive minifigure and a very fan favourite character. And he has 2 exclusive parts, that being the tail and the head. And these are not just any normal parts. But surprisingly, Mr. F has gone up higher than him in cost. Let me just quickly have a look. Mr. F is showing as £30.56 and Pythor is showing as £25.67. So I'm sort of surprised that Mr. F is more expensive, considering I think among fans he is considered the worst minifigure out of the Council of the Crystal King, as his helmet just doesn't look good. But Pythor's gone, and surprise, surprise, another Day of the Departed figure. Day of the Departed Lloyd is £35.28. And as I said earlier, I believe it's the same reason as Nia, because, well, the Day of the Departed figures, they just love to inflate because of that armor piece. Well, that's a theory I've stole from Bricks by Mine. But yeah, so these are my most expensive Ninjago figures. I think it's quite interesting to have a look of how many figures have been substituted out in the space of a year, considering obviously these are still pretty expensive minifigures, but more than half of the list has changed, when for the longest time these were considered some of the most expensive figures in my collection. One other thing I'm just going to say is the figure that shocked me the most of being expensive, and that's Avatar J. Brand new Avatar J goes for £27.88. Considering he came in a £10 set back in 2020, I think that is actually the figure that has shocked me the most, because I would not view that as the same level as Crystallized Pythor or Day of the Departed Kai, who he's sandwiched between. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.